All right, today we're jumping into a really cool piece of speculative fiction called Pockets. It's a story that digs deep into hustle culture, the power of focus, and what it actually means to make a difference in a world that's obsessed with going big. So let's get right into it. This one idea. This is the engine that drives our main character, Arthur. His whole world operates on this single core belief that being constantly, almost frantically busy is the only true measure of his worth. So let's meet Arthur, though everyone knows him as Pockets. His entire identity is wrapped up in this relentless hustle, and it's all driven by this one idea that you need a ton of money, full pockets, before you can even think about doing any real good in the world. I mean, his life is just this perfect storm of scattered effort. From his tiny apartment, he's juggling 3 unbelievably complex jobs. There's synthetic sentiment arbitrage, which is really just a fancy way of saying he trades on viral emotions online. Then there's temporal load balancing, which basically means he's a ghostwriter and manager for corporate execs. And then you have his main gig, a hydroponic moss farm that he thinks is his ticket to becoming mega wealthy. And this really gets to the heart of his whole philosophy. Pockets is absolutely convinced that making a real contribution to the world is like a luxury item. It's something you can only buy after you've piled up enough cash. So he's always putting off doing any real good, just waiting for this imaginary future where he's finally rich enough to matter. Okay, so now we're going to pull the camera way, way back, because while Pockets is grinding away in his little apartment, his whole planet is being watched from, well, a cosmic perspective. And let me tell you, from up there, the diagnosis is not good. You see, from the viewpoint of these, let's call them alien observers, humanity's problem isn't about tools or tech, not at all. They have everything they need to solve poverty, disease, you name it. The real failure is organizational. It's a complete lack of collective will to actually use the solutions they've already got. And what's really fascinating is how these observers break it all down. They see this totally predictable 4-step cycle that just keeps repeating. It kicks off with innovation, which creates more resources, but then comes concentration, where all that new wealth funnels into just a few hands. That leads to dissociation, the rich completely disconnect from everyone else's problems, and the loop closes with deferral, where big world-saving fixes are just ignored because, hey, they're not profitable. So this right here, this is the end game of that feedback loop. The absolute wealthiest people on Earth reach this fork in the road. Are they going to use their insane riches to fix the very system that made them? Or are they just going to pack up and leave? Well, they choose escape. They decide to abandon Earth for shiny new colonies, which is, the ultimate act of dissociation. So the observers look at all this and decide, nope, this can't go on. The system isn't going to fix itself. So, to break this cycle, they decide they have to intervene directly, and they're going to do it by targeting one single, very carefully chosen person. The tool they're going to use is this wild piece of tech called the Internal Focus Trigger, or IFT. Just think of it like a software update for the brain. It's designed to completely wipe a person's scattered priorities and replace them with one single, unbreakable commitment. And guess who they pick for this procedure? Of course, it's our guy Pockets. And the reason is just perfect. It's a total paradox. He's got this incredible knack for big ideas, for seeing the big picture. But all that potential is completely wasted because he has zero focus. He's literally the living embodiment of the problem they want to solve. So, while Pockets is sleeping, totally clueless, the observers implant this simple but incredibly powerful directive right into his mind. It's a fundamental rewrite of his entire value system. The goal? To shift his focus away from the currency of capital and onto the currency of commitment. And now we're back on Earth, because this whole cosmic plan needs a real-world trigger to actually kick in. And that trigger comes in a really unexpected way. A funeral for Pockets' neighbor. At the funeral for this woman, Alara Rourke, or ER, Pockets keeps hearing all these stories about her. And not one of them is about how much money she had, or some big company she built. Every single story is about her direct, personal commitment, the hours, the knowledge, the time she poured into the people right there in her community. This slide right here really just nails the central conflict of the whole story. You've got Pockets' method, get rich first, then solve problems on a global scale, someday. It's a system built on profit. And then you have ER's method. Use the time you have right now to solve local problems immediately. That's a system built on trust. And then, boom, the catalyst hits. Pockets gets handed ER's entire life's work. And it's not an app. It's not a business plan. It's a physical, old-school, leather-bound book called The Ledger. It's a completely analog system of community trust that connects people's skills to local needs through tedious, manual, person-to-person checking. At that exact moment, Pockets gets a notification. His Moz farm, his whole path to getting rich, is collapsing. It's a total financial meltdown. But then the alien trigger, the IFT, kicks in. Suddenly, that digital crisis just fades into the background. His attention becomes completely, forcibly locked onto this strange, heavy book in his hands. So the IFT definitely worked, right? It changed his focus, no question about it. But here's the real question. Did it actually change who he is, deep down? What's the very first thing that pops into his newly focused brain? Yep, that's it. How can I monetize this? His deepest, most ingrained instinct to optimize, to scale up, to turn everything into a payday, it's still there. It's his first thought, and it's in total conflict with the entire reason the ledger even exists. And the aliens, they see this. They make a note. The forced focus is working, but his core programming is still running the show. And that leaves us with the story's big, lingering question. Can a person who's obsessed with massive scale ever learn to value something that's powerful precisely because it can't be scaled? The experiment, as they put it, continues. And it's a question we're thinking about for ourselves too. What's the right balance between efficiency and commitment?